Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about writing today. I've been writing pretty much all day today, and so I thought, why not talk about it? I have a big pitch session tomorrow, and kind of an unusual situation because it's a written pitch. They want us to turn in a written pitch. It's a very big film company that's branching into television, and they are accepting pitches from a select group of people, and I'm one of them. Yippee-yay. and I just happened, well, it didn't happen. Obviously, I wouldn't be pitching if I didn't have a pilot script written and a series Bible and all of that nonsense that you have to pitch a TV show, right? But I just happen to have all that stuff. But of course, I don't have it all in the format that they want. Now, everybody has their own format, and we want ours specifically like this. So within 2 pages, could you please give us the log line, the overview of the milieu, where the series happens? Is it in the present day? Is it in the past? Is it a dystopian future? Whatever. All the character breakdowns, and tell us all about the backgrounds of these characters, who they are, how they relate to each other, and make us fall in love with them, and tell us enough about them so that we'll want to follow them throughout however many season series. And then give us the synopsis of the pilot and the synopsis of the series. Not the first season, but the series. And it's like, holy crap. In 2 pages. I'm a pretty concise writer. I've learned from writing on Twitter how to condense and be very precise and concise and keep my thoughts to 140 characters. But this is really stretching my abilities to the nth degree, I have to say. But I got it done. I did it a 1.75 pages, and I worked on it all day to get it down in 12-point type, by the way, because they're like, don't give us any of that 8 or 10-point shit, because we can't read it. So it's like, okay. So in 12-point type, so it can be read, and without some ridiculous margins out to the edges of the pages, please. So it's not too dense looking on the page. So it's not due till tomorrow, but I wrote it today. I sent it in for some notes from the guy who's coordinating everything, and some feedback, and let's see if he sends me any notes or feedback, or if he just likes it and sends it in. So we'll see. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about what I consider to be writing with purpose, or writing with a theme, or writing about something that is more than just what I call popcorn entertainment or an idea. There's a lot of movies that are made that are just a really great and entertaining idea. But that's really all they are, is a really good and entertaining idea. You go to an air-conditioned theater in the summer, because you gotta have places to escape to. You buy some popcorn and a soda, you sit there for 2 hours, it's fun, it's mind candy, it doesn't matter if it means anything, if it says anything, if it makes you think about anything, you're just there to sort of let it wash over you and be done with it. And it certainly has its place. It's not the kind of thing that I aspire to do. It's not the kind of stories and screenplays that I write, or at least that I'm hoping that people think that I write. The kind of stuff that I want to write is the kind of thing that actually means something, that's more than just an idea, that takes and makes you think about life, makes you think about something about life, about people, about the human condition, about relationships, about something maybe that you've never thought about before. It makes you consider something about life that you've never considered before. I always write from a point of view, mine, of course, because I'm the one who's writing it. And I always take my point of view and expand it and develop it. And I certainly don't mean to say that I am preaching in my writing. I hope you never would see one of my films and come out of there going, oh God, that was, 2 hours of a sermon. I hope to God that it's very subtle. And in fact, most of the time, you don't even realize that there is a point of view necessarily, but you come out of there going, wow, I'd never really thought about that before. Or it raises questions for you that you start discussing with people. Did you see that movie? Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah, I saw that movie too. What did you think about blah, whatever? What did you think about? And then a discussion arises out of something, some point that was raised in the movie, some position that I took or one of my characters took, and that it maybe was controversial or it was different or it was interesting, or it somehow takes you on a journey with this character and makes you think about things. Maybe uncomfortable things, maybe things that in polite society we don't talk about, really. Maybe peels back some layers and lets you see deep inside a human being in a way that you've never thought to see them before. With my very, very first film, Reflections of a Life, it's an intimate portrait of a woman who's going through a journey with breast cancer. I shot that, I set that in one location, and I didn't move the camera. Now, that's a very controversial thing to do, and I don't even know that it's ever been done in a film before. This was a 30-minute short film where the camera never moved. Now, you never know that the camera didn't move because of the way we shot it. It's not like the camera was static and it was just one shot for the entire time, because obviously we're panning and we're tilting and we're cutting back and forth between two shots and singles and close-ups and over the shoulders, and the way I shot it in this awesome location, I put the camera in the corner. I had this bathroom with this huge mirror. It had an entire wall that was one full mirror, and then that reflected through the doorway into the bedroom. So we did shoot in the bedroom, and we turned the camera and we shot into the bedroom, and we'd follow the characters as they came into the bathroom, or we'd follow them as they went into the bedroom. We used the mirror so that we could get a two-shot or an over-the-shoulder, with the mirror reflection in the mirror being the one character and the person live in the room being the other character. So we used it in a variety of different ways, but we positioned the camera right in this doorway to the closet that was right next to the doorway to the bedroom. So you actually never saw the camera, and it actually never moved. And I did that because I wanted the audience to get the feeling like they were a fly on the wall. And they were witnessing this woman's most intimate moments where she took off her makeup and she really was who she was. When the facade came down, when the social veneer came away, and she really could be truly herself, the way we are when we're alone and we don't think anyone's watching. I wanted the audience to get that kind of feeling, that they were witnessing the real human being, not the social veneer. Yes, they saw her at times when she put on the makeup and she was interacting with people, and they could see that social veneer in place. But they also saw her when the social veneer was gone, the makeup was gone, everything was gone, and she was literally just all the barriers down and being herself. And because the camera didn't move, you had this subliminal feeling of seeing something that you probably shouldn't be seeing. Not that you ever saw nudity and anything weird like that, but just that you saw something that you usually don't see. And I had very interesting reactions at the film festivals. Nobody ever thought that the camera didn't move, by the way. Not even the DPs in the audience who saw it. They knew we didn't go outside of that location except for a couple of flashback scenes. We did go outside for a couple of flashback scenes to a park and a couple of different park locations. But those flashback scenes were anchored by pictures that were on the vanity in the bathroom, so that when we knew that they were flashbacks, and we knew that they were memories, and that she was looking at the pictures, having the memories, and that she was coming back, she was remembering something, and it was always anchored by that picture that was on the vanity. But I had people saying, oh, the way you panned across that vanity and the shots that you made, and you turned the camera around, and I was like, yeah, I never turned the camera around. The camera didn't move. No, it did. I said, no, it didn't. And people argued with me, yes, it moved. I was like, I wrote it, I produced it, and I directed it, and I starred in it. I did all of those things. Yeah, I was pretty ambitious for a first film. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I wanted the message to come across for that film anyway. First of all, I wanted people to have such an intimate relationship with this woman. I wanted you to come away from this film feeling like this woman was either your sister, your girlfriend, your best friend, someone who you had that kind of relationship with, that you knew that well, that it would be someone who would let their hair down, so to speak, around you. That it wasn't just an acquaintance or a friend or someone from the movies. And it's really hard to establish that kind of relationship in 30 minutes. It's easier to get that kind of empathy with someone in 2 hours in a movie, in a full-length movie, but it's hard to get that kind of empathy in a 30-minute short film. So that was one of the reasons why I shot it that way. The other thing I wanted to try to get across in that film was the idea of what kind of reserves we have as human beings when faced with the things that we're faced with. Because let's face it, life throws us some curveballs. Every single one of us, life throws us curveballs. There's a single human being on planet Earth that doesn't face really, really, really difficult situations at some point in their life. I mean, we all have ups and we all have downs and we all have the normal ups and downs of life, but we're all going to face at least one or two really, really tough situations that we have to live through. And how we deal with that sort of determines who we are as human beings. Whether we become bitter or defensive or angry or grateful, or we come out the other side as kinder human beings or more empathetic towards other human beings. And I really wanted people to understand that everybody walking around on planet Earth, if you just stripped away that veneer, gone through something terrible in their life. It's somebody who just needs a hug. You know, they just need a hug. It's just, there isn't a single person who's going to escape. They're just a raw nerve. That's better. Raw nerve. There isn't a single person who escapes without going through something. And if we all hide it so well, I mean, let's face it, we are all some of the best actors on planet Earth, because we all walk around acting like life is this bowl of cherries 100% of the time. 100% of the time. When we interact with each other, life is just awesome. All the time. And probably for most of us, most of the time, it is. But there are moments for everyone where it isn't. And I wanted to show that. I wanted to say, and here's someone who's going through something that's really tough, and this is how she's dealing with it. She's hitting the low point in her life, and she's deciding that life is worth living. And this woman decides in the roughest of times that life is really worth living. And it's better to make the best of a bad situation than it is to wallow in the bad. And I settled on that theme when I first started writing the piece, because it was really inspired by, if you will, a life situation that my aunt went through, and she wrote a book. What inspires me is the way she lived her life, which was she got breast cancer, and her attitude was, well, I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm just going to keep living my life to the best of my ability and having fun and going out and doing the things I want to do. And she did that right up until she couldn't do it anymore, until she died. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll write that then. And that's what I did. And that's what the short film is about. And it's called Reflections of a Life. And so that became, if you will, my theme or my underlying idea or inspiration for the film.